いつも君と待ち続けた季節は何も言わず通り過ぎた。雨はこの街に降り注ぐ少しのリグレットと罪を包み込んで泣かないことを誓ったまま時は過ぎ痛む心に気がつかずに僕は一人になった記憶の中でずっと二人は生きてゆける君の声が今も胸に響くよ。それは愛がさまよう限り君は少し泣いた。あの時見えなかった。
Shion. Shion! It's your thorns? But why? You okay? Just now, it looked like you used your maiden powers to suppress your thorns. You can really do that?
Stay out of my way.
Wait a second. Are you planning to go alone?
Shut up!
Why would you do this?
I told you to shut up!
I won't let you.
I mean it.
I refuse to let you.
I won't tell you again. Move or I'll shoot.
If that's the case, then go ahead and shoot me!
Do you remember back when I was stabbed? By Rolron?
Yeah. I thought for sure that he had killed you back there.
That wasn't the first time.
Huh?
The first time was when I was only a child. After that, no matter how often, I just couldn't die.
Couldn't die? So you're immortal? How's that even...
I believe you, Shion. But tell me how is something like that possible?
My thorns. They're me, but at the same time not. They're part of me. I have no idea why, but my thorns will never let me die. At least not before I'm meant to.
You can't die before your death?
When my thorns free themselves, it will be my death. I've seen it. A darkness that swallows up everything until nothing remains. It's a vision of oblivion I can't escape. I want to believe it's all just a bad dream. But no matter what I tell myself, I know it's not.
Yeah, but you... Wait. The whole reason you needed the Renaissance was to get rid of your thorns, right?
If I burn away what's inside, then what will happen to the rest of me? Right. Either way you look at it, I'm going to die. But if I am going to die, I figure I can at least take my thorns out with me. That's what I've been after this whole time.
That's why you turned your back on your fellow Renans and chose to fight with us, isn't it? And while we've all been fighting to keep on living, you have been with us fighting desperately to die.
That was the plan. But then I met all of you. And before I knew it, I didn't want to die anymore.
Shion, don't lose hope yet. We'll find a way to save you. There's still time to.
It's pointless.
Why?
Because the darkness won't just consume me. The truth is, it will consume all of existence as well. It was only a suspicion at first. But ever since the Red Woman triggered my maiden powers, I've been more certain than ever before. It was then that I finally came to realize my powers were holding my thorns in check the entire time. But they don't anymore. Not since Lenegus, when the wedge fell. Every day, I feel the thorn's power growing stronger inside of me. Pretty soon, I won't be able to hold them back anymore. And when that happens,
they will consume all existence.
And that's why you wanted to leave by yourself. You planned to find the Renaissance on your own and sacrifice yourself to stop the thorns.
But that's too much. It's way too much. When this all began, I didn't care what happened to me or anyone else. And what happened to the Renans or the Danans didn't matter to me at all. I know I have to die, but I don't want to. Not now that I have this. I wish we had never met. Then I wouldn't have to feel this way.
Shion!
Help it.
Living for the sake of dying is no better than being a slave. How can you endure this? It's not fair. I don't care what anybody says. I won't let it happen. We can fight this. We'll fight until the end together. Isn't that what you said to me before?
Even if it should mean that it'll be the end of everything else, too?
Shion, what do you want? It's your decision, ultimately. But if you decide not to fight fate, I will. Even if I have to do it alone.
No, you won't be alone. I'll fight as well.
Count me in as well. I want to be a force for good, not hate.
And me too. I meant it with all of my heart when I told you before. Neither of you are alone in this at all.
You guys...
And I, for one, don't believe this venture is without hope.
Huh?
Shion is the descendant of a maiden from 300 years ago. Given the circumstances, it seems very likely that those events have some connection to her thorns. The true nature of which, I imagine we will discover as we make our way to Lenegus and uncover the truth of what's unfolding here.
I take it you mean we might find a way to get rid of her thorns and she'll live?
It's certainly possible. Though I suspect the nature of the Sovereign is connected somehow.
So be it. I've already lost everything I had once. And I won't let it happen again. Shion. No matter what happens from now on, we're right here with you. All of us are. You are not alone.
You guys... You're all so stubborn. Thank you, everyone. For right now, and a little while longer, I just want to hold on to this dream. And most of all, more than anything else, I want to be with all of you. So let's go. On to Lenegus.
The end of the world.
I believe Shion is telling the truth.
As a friend, yes, I want to believe her. Still, it's hard to fathom something that could usher outright...
No, I understand. Even Shion doesn't seem to know
We have so many pieces of the puzzle in our hands. So many clues. Yet the complete picture...
So where do her thorns fit in, then?
Well, I imagine they must sit at the very center of...
Yeah, I remember. It was the will of Dana's hat.
Right. And from that, we're able to hypothesize how vast Let's return to when we found Shion in Pelegion. When her thorns went wild.
So you think those thorns might be alive too? But why would they want to destroy the...
As for that, I really cannot say for certain. Its goals still...
You know, I've noticed since we've met that you like figuring out riddles.
Can you blame me? When one realizes that the world they once thought to be true is but a mere facade, especially when that deception has led to others getting hurt.
So, Halim?
I imagine the remaining pieces of the puzzle that we seek rest somewhere within Lenegus. As for what the final picture will look like, who can say? I think it's best we not dwell...
Right. Can't sleep?
After everything we just heard, How could I?
Fair enough.
Shion's had to deal with so much on her own. Even when we were all laughing, and I thought she was keeping her distance because of her thorns. I just figured that was the type, but it turned out to be none of that. All this time,
I know.
she was so alone this entire time. How could I call her a friend and yet be so completely blind to everything she was going?
I'm sure it made her happy, knowing...
You...
Yeah, I do. If she didn't think of us as friends, you were a good friend to her before.
Yeah. When you think about it, we were all... But over time, we've all found ways to let each other into our lives. No, I mean, I hope she's able to do that more. I think it'd be really nice if we could all just be there.
Rinwell.
How you holding up?
Who, me?
Yes, you. You took a hit from those thorns again.
Oh, that?
Compared to what Shion's going through, you mean? Still, even if you yourself might be willing to endure that kind of pain, that doesn't mean Shion wants to have to see you get hurt by...
Yeah, I know.
Shion doesn't know how lucky she is to have you around, you know? Dashing in to save her at the last minute.
Yeah.
I'm being serious. You went up and held her. She really needed that. That's what I mean when I said you saved her. Just like you did.
I just want for Shion what we all have. Those thorns have robbed her of the kind of everyday things we all take for granted.
You can say that again. It may be normal for us. I have my own dreams. But a world without her?
Agreed. It's like more and more keeps getting taken.
Did you know?
You mean about
Yeah, I didn't have the slightest idea. I mean, it's like a completely different world was spinning around me and I couldn't...
You and me both. I mean, I knew something was bothering her, but...
You? But you're the...
That's what I thought. But in reality, I didn't understand it all.
At least you figured it out in time.
I don't think we're out of the woods yet. But yeah, you're right. We brought her back from the edge, and we're going to stop those thorns from taking her.
Yeah, with all of us together, there's nothing we can't handle. Shion, the world, we can...
I know. No lone wolfing it.
Hey, you're the expert on what my dad would say.
Zephyr, I don't think that he'd have that much to say, to be honest.
I guess he couldn't say anything even if he wanted to.
Law.
Sorry. I guess those of us amongst the living have enough problems to deal with, don't we? We'll need all our strength to save Shion. I'll probably end up worrying again at some point. But I guess I'll think it over.
Yeah, I think... Hey, you doing all right?
I seem to cause nothing but worry. As much as I try to look like I have things under control.
You're not the only one.
Hey, do you remember the first time? That's okay. It came so naturally to you, I'm not surprised you forgot. I was different back then. The Danons were not even in that room with Deadime. When you called me your friend, it just shattered the wall that I'd built up, because until that moment, I'd only seen you as a means to... I thought of you as a way to use the blazing sword, and to obtain the Renis Alma. But after that day, one time became two. It didn't matter that we were Renins. You cared about us as you would any... Then, everyone else started to call me their friend too. To think of me as their friend, I didn't want to die and lose you all. But I also didn't want to live if it meant...
Shion.
But then, I realized... Don't worry, it's okay. I've met too many people along the way who I truly care about to give in now. So I'll fight. For Dana and for myself. I'll fight it. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I won't let the world end because of...
It's going to be a long, hard road ahead, Shion. Our fight won't be over until everyone, but I swear I'll be there with you.
Thank you.
Remember what we learned back in Calaglia? There's no wall.
Yeah, I think...
Everyone well rested? Then let's go. We depart for Lenegus.
Well, it's the moment of truth.
This lady better hold together once we're up in the air.
Law, don't say that. You're going to jinx us.
Speaking of which, Alphen, this bucket of bolts got a name?
A name? You know, I'm not sure she ever had one. I never really thought about it.
Well, after all the trouble we went through to find her, we should give her one, right? I was thinking something like...
Fall Nights.
Huh?
It means owl in the ancient tongue. Literally, the one drawn to the skies.
I like it. Sounds perfect for our little escapade.
Not sure I'm completely convinced, but, well, it's as good a name as any. From now on, she'll be known as the Fall Knights.
Okay, people. We have two goals. First, we need to get to Lenegus and make the Renans finally leave Dana alone. And then, we need to figure out the truth behind Shion's thorns and find a way to save her. Sound good? All right, then let's go.
You know, I can still hardly believe it.
Believe what?
I mean, just look at it. The whole of existence, crammed inside a tiny frame.
Now that you mention it, I guess you're right. It does look more like a painting than a living, breathing world.
From up here, all the struggles we've been through feel so insignificant.
Nothing like realizing how small you are to put everything into perspective. Kinda makes the differences between the Renans and the Danans feel pretty small too, huh?
How much longer until we reach Lenegus?
There are better ways to use your time than napping. We should take a moment to familiarize ourselves with the facilities on board before arrival.
Good idea. The starship may end up serving as our base of operations once we're down there. Think you'll be all right with the controls?
You mean the one set to automatic pilot? I dare say I'll manage. I'm basically just here to supervise.
In that case, she's all yours.
Everything okay, Shion? You seem a little different.
Different? Like in a bad way different?
No, not at all. You seem more driven lately, like you found a zest for life. It suits you. Hey, Alphen, listen to this!
Hey, shut up!
What's got Law?
Only that he's afraid of flying, the big baby. And after all that fuss he made about naming the
Hey, I just think it's, you know...
It's a starship, dummy. That's what it's supposed to.
Well, maybe you're the one with the problem.
Guys. I'm no expert, but I think we can trust Renan technology. It got me to...
Oh, that's a good point. If you think so.
Hard to argue with that, seeing how you hitched a ride in one of these things.
You okay? Feeling airsick?
Actually, now that you mention it, not at all. These starship...
Glad to hear it. That device there caught her up.
I was just wondering what it is. It looks big enough.
It's a healing pod. It fixes injuries and illnesses.
Oh, you don't say. Well, that should definitely come... Alphen? Was it...
No, I was just thinking back to when I escaped Lenegis, that's all. What with the ceremony and losing control, Naori laid me inside here.
So, you're saying you got in this thing straight after escaping? But that'd mean...
Yes, it sounds crazy, I know. But don't even ask me.
That's definitely quite some lie-in, all right. But still, whether you meant to or not, I sure am glad that it's...
What do you mean?
With the amount of fighting we've done, we would have never made it this far without you. And not only the Alphen, can you recall back to what it is that I said to you? Back when we left Menancia? About...
Of course. That's why you came with us, right? To learn what you couldn't at home.
Even in that time, I was well aware that what I was living was a lie. But at the same time, I also felt really compelled to I'll always remember him fondly. But the coexistence we're fighting, the world's bigger than just Menancia. My dream, if I've learned anything on this journey, it's that. And the one who brought me along was you, Alphen.
Well, we're not out of this forest just yet. You should probably save your thanks. At least, until we've dealt with the...
I know. But whatever we find when we...
Kisara.
Probably getting a little ahead of myself, huh? Let's take things one...
We'll be going to Lenegis soon.
This must feel like a homecoming of sorts to you, huh? What was life on Lenegis like back then?
Let's just say, I don't have many happy memories. I've had thorns they called it treatment. But in truth, they were just using me as a guinea pig for their research.
You mean, they experimented on you?
That's right. All I was to them was a riddle to solve. They poked and prodded me, day in and day out. The look they gave me whenever some existence, huh? I thought things couldn't get any worse. Is it any wonder? Sure, I survived, but with the knowledge that that's when it hit me. If I was going to die, then it should mean something. If I have to sacrifice myself to save...
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
You say it's your destiny to die so that others can...
Are you crazy?
That's exact... Why should you have to give up your life just because you drew the It's that logic that's used to justify slavery. As if some of us were just meant to be This struggle was never about saving only ourselves. But that doesn't mean we have... If we're doing this to protect people, if we're doing this to save the world from...
A world free of sacrifice.
Not just me. We're in this together, remember? If we're going to win, everyone has to win. Now I see it. The true nature of our...
A victory without losers. But that means that Adan...
You bet we can pull it off. We have to. It's the...
Yeah, you're right. No one's ever changed the future. We can do this. Together.
Is something wrong?
No. I was merely thinking how it had been 7 years, that's all.
You mean since you became a lord and left Lenegis? I guess even some...
I am as prone to sentimentality as any other. You too have a history with Lenegis. A traumatic one, no less. This trip will probably mean face... Doesn't that frighten you?
Well, it is a place where I took the lives of countless people. But I can't keep running forever. The past is what it is.
I see.
Dohalim?
Forgive me. I was wrong to pry. We have more pressing matters to address. Come back and speak to me when you finish looking around the ship. Is everyone about ready?
Before we do that, just what exactly should we expect when we get down there?
Kisara has a point. Now that I think of it, I don't know the first thing about Lenegis.
I'd like to hear more too. It's been centuries since I was last there, and they didn't exactly give me the grand tour.
Very well. First and foremost, Lenegis was the base of operations in charge of the Crown. Of course, it also happens to be a city in its own right. Its social structure is based on a strict hierarchy. Put simply, the strength of an individual's astral arts carries great...
Enough to determine someone's social rank, you mean? But astral arts are innate.
They can be honed with the right training, and there are admittedly other factors at play. But yes, that's basically the gist. As a result, family lines that churn out lords and their contenders wield disproportionate influence. And
Those capable of only weak astral arts are effectively an underclass, denied the right to descend to Still, even the lowest rung on the Renin ladder is considered superior to being a Danon.
Thanks for the warning. As a lord, Dohalim must have been
Come on, you've seen her skill with astral arts. You really...
On arts alone, you're right. I'd have been sitting pretty. But you're forgetting my thorns. They weren't exactly an invitation to high society.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's refreshing to be around someone who says what they're thinking.
Jeez.
Wait a second. Are you... He is...
I am not!
of course, separating people into castes based on something arbitrary like arts is discrimination at its worst. As if such simplistic criteria could ever be
So this red woman, are we
I would wager so. Lenegis is too deeply involved in all this to discard the possibility. Chances are she's also connected to the Renis Alma being...
If the Renis Alma is being used to exploit Dana, we need to take it back at all costs.
That red woman's got a lot to answer for. Just as well I've got a ton of questions.
We're about to land. The descent could be a little bumpy.
If there are clues about your thorns out there, Shion, we'll find them. There's no one here. I wasn't expecting a welcome mat, but still.
Lenegis's infrastructure is largely automated. Besides, people won't be expecting incoming traffic while the crown contest is still underway.
Do you think anyone realizes that we're here?
We may not have received a royal welcome, but I doubt our entrance went unnoticed. Don't let your guard down.
I really hope we don't have to fight anybody while we're here.
So now what? We've come all this way on a hunch that this red woman is here, right? And if we're lucky, the Renis Alma too. Any idea where we should start looking?
There is an area of the city that is accessible only to the sovereigns, known as the Forbidden Zone. That seems as good a place as any for us to start.
Forbidden? What are they hiding?
I don't know, hence my desire to find out. Fortunately, we just so happen to have a sovereign in our midst. In any case, Changing the shape of a huge structure such as Lenegis would have required an immense source of power.
Then you think that source might have been the Renis Alma?
Precisely. Alphen said that he remembered the Renis Alma being used in the spirit channeling ceremony 3 centuries ago. Whatever the ceremony's purpose, if preparations are underway for it to be held once more, then the Renis Alma might be in the same place as last time, possibly together with the Red Woman. Hiding something of that worth in the residential quarters would only court trouble. In which case...
It stands to reason we should be looking somewhere normally out of bounds. Is that it?
Indeed.
But it's been over 300 years since I was made a sovereign. You can't seriously think I'll be able to waltz right into the place after all this time.
There's only one way to find out. If there's even a chance you can get us in, I say we give it a shot.
Shion's right. Who knows? We might even find a clue to her thorns while we're at it.
All right. It's not like we're swimming in leads, so let's try to track down the Forbidden Zone. Beyond that wall lies a city full of Renins. The capital city where Shion and Dohalim used to live, no less. Who knows what we'll find on the other side?
What in the world?
This being Renin territory, I was prepared for a lot of things to look different. But this is a bit more than I anticipated.
The very foundations of the city have shifted. What could have caused this?
When Lenegis changed shape, it must have had an effect on the interior, too.
Maybe when they sent the wedge down to Dana?
But they wouldn't move around the places where people live. These are their homes, right?
I would think the citizens themselves didn't have much say in the matter. Either way, locating the Forbidden Zone just became that much trickier.
Dohalim? Is that you?
Avakir, I'm glad to see you're well.
So it is you! But why are you here? Shouldn't you be down on Dana participating in the crown contest? And these people!
So you haven't heard what happened on Dana, then?
Heard what?
Someone you know?
An old friend.
Hey, Dohalim, don't tell me you've started keeping company with...
They're with me. More importantly, what's happened here?
I'm really not sure. The city's foundations began to shift without warning, and now everything looks like this. We're all waiting for the Sovereign to tell us what's happening, but so far...
Avakir, listen to me. We're looking for the Forbidden Zone. Do you have any idea where we might find it?
The Forbidden Zone? What business could you possibly have there?
Trust me. The less you know, the better.
You're just the same as ever. I wish I could help, but what with the changed topography, I can barely locate my own home. Let alone the Forbidden Zone.
Very well. It looks like we'll have to find the way there ourselves.
Have you seen Faria yet?
No.
I see. Well, nothing much has changed with her. If anything, she's probably even more...
I can well imagine.
Why did you come back? You know it can only result in pain for you both.
I've no doubt of that.
You really are the same as ever. Fine, I understand. Just don't say I didn't warn you. And take care of yourself. Okay, Do?
So who's Faria?
Law?
If what Avakir said is true, it would seem the people of Lenegis are being kept in the dark about...
They seem to be just as clueless about what's going on up here in their own world. Despite the fact that...
We need more information. Let's talk to the citizens, see what we can find out.
While we're at it, we can ask them about the
And don't forget about finding the way to the forbidden...
Let's leave the talking to Shion. We can't have a bunch of Danins poking their noses around.
Good idea.
I shall assist.
You sure?
Being a lord on Lenegis has its advantages.
Right. Then we'll leave it to you two. The Danins among us should probably keep our heads down.
What if people freak out?
I shall explain it away by saying I'm leading you.
What are we, dogs?
Everything will be okay now.
I know the basics of healing arts, but my skills pale in comparison.
Your lordship! Oh, what a great honor it is to finally meet you. I descended to Dana during the last crown contest also. Alas, I witnessed the deaths of so many...
Indeed.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're looking for a woman dressed all in red.
All red, eh? No, I can't say I remember anyone like that.
Yeah.
What's with all these questions? I've never seen her, okay? Not recently or otherwise.
Never mind. Forget I asked. Sorry to Is everything okay? You look...
Oh, yes.
I was hoping to head this way myself.
I suppose the Sovereign knows I daren't stay here too long, though. A lower caste can only linger around these parts for so long before I outstay. I was hoping to avoid it, but maybe I'll have to go that way.
You mean you know another way round?
Lord Dohalim Ilkaris! But how? Last I heard, he...
Yes, strange, isn't it? If you know another route, we'd be grateful if you could tell us.
But of course. Please forgive me. I thought maybe it was a passageway between the different quarters, but I've no way of knowing for sure.
It's worth investigating, at least. I shall go and assess the situation. In the meantime, wait for me here. If it looks safe, I'll come.
You'd really do that for me? A lord troubling himself for someone of my look.
Our lot in life is of little consequence. We are both Renin.
Oh, why yes, my lord.
Oh, dear me. What an unspeakable... Whatever did we do?
You really have no clue?
Would that I have. Alas, there was no... We have no choice. But to my... I believed he was on Dana.
Your eyes do not deceive you. It is I, one and the same. I have returned to fulfill a
As your lordship wishes. First, Lenegis mutates beyond recognition. The Ilkaris house has produced a great many lords over the centuries.
Your good wishes do me an honor.
Well, we've canvassed the city for...
No one has the faintest idea what's happened to the city after all.
You'd think that
Not to this extent.
Given everything that's happened to their city?
Yeah. That one guy even said his Zoogle had stopped listening to him.
Everything that happens here is attributed to the Sovereign's will. Nothing happens devoid of a reason.
The Sovereign's plan. There is one thing I'm still not sure about. Just who
The Sovereign, of course. He rules from Rena while presiding over both Rena...
Without the lords or anyone in the middle doing his dirty work? Isn't Rena at least the same? That's a pretty big dominion for one person to rule over.
The points you make are valid, though I confess I'd never given it much thought before. Here, the Sovereign's total authority. Come to think of it, I know nothing of the nature of how Rena itself is. Shion, have you ever been... No, forgive me. Have you met or crossed...
No.
Neither have I. In which case...
Hold up, what are you getting at, Dohalim?
Assuming what I believe to be correct, it's possible that no one on Lenegis has ever laid eyes on the actual Rena...
But what about trade and communication? There's got to be a flow.
Not if the Sovereign is imposing his will on Lenegis single-handedly. It could be a one-way street.
But I thought you said that the Sovereign's all the way over on Rena. If that's... What if something were to happen to the city?
I'm beginning to wonder what the nature of this Sovereign even is. Alphen said he was... But Sovereign is also the title given to the almighty Renan ruler. So...
Whoever wins the crown contest inherits the throne from his or her predecessor, before becoming ruler over all thereafter. That individual is known as the Sovereign. Though, it would appear that the current ruler has gone silent. As for how Volron factors into all this, at this point, I no longer know what to believe.
3 centuries ago, I became the Sovereign here on Lenegis. No, not just became, 300 years later, we crossed paths with Volron, who also... That's not the only thing we have in common. We both became Sovereign.
Do you think Volron was made Sovereign for the same reason?
I can't say for sure.
But that would mean that 2 Sovereigns would need to exist at any one time. We never did see Volron's body back in... Is a new ceremony under...
Wait a second. You don't think Volron and the Red Woman are working together, do you? The ceremony can't go forward without the Renis Alma. The same one that the Red Woman stole.
There's something else the ceremony needs. A maiden.
Questions, questions, and yet more questions.
If the Forbidden Zone really is off-limits to everyone but the Sovereign, that seems as good a place as any to start. For the sake of liberating Dana.
Then it's decided.
One of the citizens mentioned a passage that she thought might lead to another section of the city. It could point us in the right direction. Let's go find it!
Nobody left to run the show. I mean, there's Sovereigns up on the Ren...
But Dohalim was a lord.
Only current acting lords.
Even if the other lords were still around, I doubt they'd be able to do much of...
I wonder what they'd think if they were here to see Lenegis, Alsif, Canabelt, Almadria, and Volron. Now that I think of it, aside from Dohalim, we know next to nothing about the other lords.
Well, yeah, why would we? To us Danans, they were just enemies we needed to overthrow. Nothing more.
I know. But seeing Renans in their own city, going about their day-to-day lives...
It feels strange to imagine the lords...
Yeah, a little.
If you're that curious about them, why not try... Every lord in their household has their share of supporters here on Lenegis. And luckily for us.
Yes! Yes!
Balsef had it in him to care about someone other than himself? Really?
It's possible. A change in position can do much to alter one's perspective.
I guess she intended to spread it throughout all of Lenegis then.
Good thing the lines were down so she couldn't.
It almost sounded like she was praising them too.
Maybe there was more to the guy than at first glance.
I shall refrain from commenting.
What?
Ganabelt was so horrible to people, yet he was invested in helping Rena succeed. Doesn't that seem just a little inconsistent?
I'm perhaps biased in this matter, I admit. However, in my mind, while all lords vie to become the next sovereign, they're also meant to serve as guardians of all of Rena.
It seems like Ganabelt also had people he cared about until the very end.
So why couldn't he extend that to us Danans?
This area doesn't look as badly damaged as that other district we went through.
Indeed.
Pardon me.
I guess her willingness to stoop to any low came from a survival of the fittest worldview.
And some people here not only shared her belief, but championed it as morally right too.
Ridiculous. Okay.
It seems like the people on Lenegis don't really know much about Volron either.
I remember being quite surprised when the Lord of Ganath Haros changed so abruptly.
Didn't you have any doubts that something suspicious was going on?
On the contrary. Remember, we Renans are raised to accept everything at face value.
When you think about it, the families of Renan lords must see them differently than the...
Yeah, despite the brutality, they're no...
They must have had a lot on their shoulders.
Renans live in a world where strength and power determine their position in the social hierarchy, but their loyalty to their people is also strong. It's what brings them together against outside forces, and nothing exemplifies that.
That's what makes them the guardian.
Right. It's the same reason Balsif hated my guts, and Ganabelt went after you. Because we're threats to Rena.
Guess that makes you an even bigger oddball than we thought.
So, Alphen, have you gained anything from all of this?
Yeah. I think it's made me realize that Balsif and the others, they all had their own circumstances to deal with as they went through life.
Yeah, but still, just because they had loved ones in their lives doesn't mean...
I know. What they did was horrible. I'm not trying to dispute that. But at the same time, they weren't incomprehensible, so I guess...
You're saying that they weren't bad because they were Renans. Even if they did terrible things, they were still just people.
Renwell.
Am I wrong?
Not at all.
Being a Danan doesn't make you a good person. And being a Renan doesn't make you a bad one. I think that's something we've all seen.
Shion and Dohalim definitely make...
And I'm going to keep doing my best to make sure I earn that trust. As a fellow human being above all...
There's something I just don't get.
What is it?
The crown contest itself has always gone ahead as planned, in which case the current sovereign of Rena should be whoever it was that won.
Yeah, that makes...
So, who was it?
Hanfrikt Milgroth. The former Lord of Cislodia, if memory serves.
So then this Han-freaked whatchamacallem, he's the current ruler of Rena?
The last I heard, yes. Though, admittedly, I haven't...
You're saying that ever since becoming sovereign, he's never actually shown him?
I guess over holocom maybe, but not in the flesh. Same thing goes for the sovereign that came before him.
Now that you mention it, I don't recall anyone ever visiting Lenegis from the
And that never struck you as a little bit...
When you live here, it's as if you're conditioned not to notice all these strange quirks and discrepancies.
A new Renis Alma is supposedly created to coincide with every crown contest, meaning each victor is awarded. In other words, if that's true, there should be as many of the things out.
True, but going on what we witnessed in Pelagian, it didn't look like the sort of thing that could be made to order. But if even the victor's speeches have...
You and me both. Though we are...
With any luck, the Forbidden Zone might give us some answers.
No use standing around here chatting about it then. Let's get a move on.
Doe?
Faria.
Varia? Isn't that the person that Avakir guy was...
But why are you here? Wait. Don't tell me you've given up on the crown. Nothing to say? Even though you were willing to kill Tarnigan to secure your...
Kill?
I'm here to take care of something. If you wish to continue this conversation, I only ask that you...
Oh, of course. You always did prefer to take the coward's way out. Even after 7 years and living on that debt. But let me tell you, I haven't changed either. Not a day's gone by the past 7 years that I haven't hated you.
If killing me will bring you peace, and...
Dohalim, what the hell are you saying?
First, I have business to take care of. If it's vengeance you seek, I will grant you it. But you must. My sins are legion. Let me finish what I came to do. Then you have my word. I will let you do what...
Sure, that's it. Run away like always. You don't even have the courage to die. No, you're just a coward!
Dohalim.
I apologize that you had to witness that.
Is it true?
Each of us have our pasts. I am no exception.
Before, back in Menancia, you mentioned having taken a friend's life over the throne. Is that what she...
The mistakes I made there were not my first, and may not be my last. I will say no more.
Did you mean what you said? About letting her take...
She has more right to my life than anyone.
But you can't just...
Whatever happens, I have sworn to put an end to the crown contest, and to ensure continued coexistence in Menancia. I have no intention of expiring before I do so. There are far too... Besides, you have just as much reason to kill me as she does. Forgive me. Some things are best left.
Wow, this place is beautiful!
Yeah. It must be some sort of rest and leisure area for the locals.
You think? Man, these Renin sure know how to live it up, don't they?
It is some...
Before I went down to Dana, my friends and I, we used to... Avakir, Faria, and Tarnigan.
Tarnigan. He was the one that Faria mentioned, right?
He was once my dearest, closest friend. as well as Faria's betrayal. Despite Faria's lower-class upbringing, she possesses a entranced by her playing. I helped her overcome her sense of inferiority and introduced her to Tarnagin and Avakir. It was a time of great joy. 4 people bound only by their love of music.
A friendship based on mutual respect, and a society where everyone is a prisoner to their...
I suppose it's natural you...
I would have. Now, I think the idea of breaking away from society's constraints... Besides, it was that way of looking at the world that laid...
Your praise does me too great an honor. I was merely following the wishes of my own heart. And even then, it only lasted until the crown contest began. After that, Tarnagin and I... Tarnagin had fallen for Faria. By becoming Lord, he aimed to... But fate was not so benevolent.
What happened?
Tarnagin was no match for me in combat. On a level playing field, he wouldn't have stood a chance, but he was desperate and low on...
You mean he resorted to dirty tactics to try to win, right? But then why does Faria think... Wait, don't tell me she doesn't know.
How could I tell her? Combined with the trauma of losing her beloved, and by her friend's hand, no less. She would have been...
So instead you let her go on hating you.
It is exactly the same. Unable to face the loss of my friend and the... As for what happened after... That you...
But if you hadn't become Lord, Menancia wouldn't be what it is now.
Shion's right. What other Lord would have treated... You've saved so many... You saved me. It's thanks to you that I'm so... Try not to blame yourself. The burden you've placed on your own shoulders...
Frank as always. But... Do you think he'll be all right?
Yeah, I think so. He's got Kisara.
It's important to have someone like that.
I didn't realize how difficult it is just to be there for someone.
Sometimes just knowing someone's on your side can be enough. And he knows, Shion. I promise he does.
I hope you're right. Alphen.
Yeah?
I never appreciated until recently just how much you were always there to support me.
Goes both ways. You helped me keep going more times than I can count.
Maybe, but I still wanted to say thank you.
I see a medic and supply officer over there. If they know you're with me, they'll likely offer their assistance.
Damn it! Lenegis soldiers!
Any way we can avoid fighting them?
That all depends on them. Whatever happens, be ready.
Well, so much for them not wanting to fight.
Oh! I am Lord Dohalim of Elder Menancia. I command you.
The rest of the city must be erased.
No. Have they been brainwashed too?
Brainwashed or not, if they want to fight, they got one. Boy, fly! It's all so strong. Be my guest. Not today. You're mine.
Do it! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished.
Illuminate the top!
You're mine. I'm not done. It's over. Severing wind. Stardust.
Raging Alpha!
Soaring Alpha. Here.
I'm here!
Here I come.
More
Lewis, get it.
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished.
On your knees.
Knock him down.
Lunar corruption!
It's on.
Lunar blast! Thunderfield! More where that came from!
Those soldiers seem different from the citizens we've come across so far.
Yeah, they weren't big talkers, that's for sure.
They weren't in the least bit fazed by Dohalim's...
Indeed. They seem to recognize us as enemies, nothing more. And yet, traditionally, Lenegis hasn't been...
Their glazed-over eyes reminded me of the soldiers in...
I've never seen anything like that.
Maybe someone doesn't want us here. And the soldiers are their way of...
What with the Red Woman, the Sovereign, and Volron, We're starting to develop quite the growing list of adversaries.
Dispose of the trash.
Forward slash! Can you take it? Strike! Start up!
I'll face you. Your reflexes will not serve you well.
Take it! Strike! Start up!
Our arms are being interrupted.
Take it! Cut! Severing wing! Crush!
Sleep now.
Win! Strike!
Pile driver.
Forward slash!
On your knees.
Here I come! No escape! Forward slash!
I'm ready.
Chill!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
The tempest engulfs you.
I don't know when it happened, but we sure are hauling a lot of...
I was just thinking the exact...
We should probably clear some stuff out. Like our old weapon.
No way. Those are still...
But that armor's also still good once you fix it up. Besides...
Well, what about all these dumb old antiques we're lugging?
Simpletons such as yourself who can't appreciate the true worth of such things.
Pretty art's not gonna save...
Stop it, you guys!
All I really meant to say is, you can tell how much we've been through by everything we're carrying around.
Oh.
My deepest apologies. It appears that I may have...
Yeah, I guess it's only natural we'd have so many souvenirs by now.
I guess all this stuff really is a sign of how...
Yeah, every little piece is its own...
We can really make weapons with this?
Retreat if you know what's good for you.
Severing wing! Forward slash! Strike!
As if the normal creepy zombies aren't disgusting enough.
Take it! Forward slash!
Water, hear my call! A chain between heaven and earth. Spread!
Severing wing! Strike! Forward slash! You're mine! Win! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno! You're mine! Win!
Back into the fray!
Forward slash!
Illuminate the
Rising Phoenix!
A chain between heaven and earth. Oh, that'll bring you down.
Ready and
Confiscated.
Here I come! Not today!
Power of water.
Win!
Reload.
Strike! Devastation! Rising Phoenix! Double Demon Fang!
A chain between heaven and
Severing
earth.
wing! Keeping charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me.
Got it! I'll leave it to you! You're mine! You're mine! Win! No! Can't end here!
Don't give up. More than the stockpile. A chain between heaven and earth. Wind astral energy.
Win!
Lightning.
Strike! Forward slash!
Here, let me help.
I'm not done! Forward slash! Strike!
Radiant.
I'm not done!
I want an air thrust.
Win!
A roll-on blast.
I'm ready! River!
Astral energy.
Say no more.
We're still standing. Barely.
Let's see what you've got.
Oh my lord! Severing wing! Forward slash!
Falling radiant here. If you won't bow
You're
out night,
mine!
then you leave me no choice.
Engaging! Cut him down.
In a bind?
Listen! Severing wind! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Can you take it?
Lunar corruption! Shining overdose!
Easy ensnaring to me.
Severing wind!
Yeah!
And pummeling to me!
Dance in the wind! Air thrust!
You're mine! Severing wind! My turn! Here I come! It's over!
Resonate with the earth! Still out!
We're not finished!
Lunar blast! What's in here?
You're mine!
Annihilate!
Being interrupted.
I'm not done!
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade! Step back! This one's all law!
Out of our way!
You're mine!
Now you'll
Damn it!
That'll bring you down! Not on my watch!
Take this!
Is it too late to talk over our differences?
You got it! Get it!
Mega Ray! Illuminating! Flame of Fury!
Sword Rain out!
Now!
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade! On your
Not a chance!
One more!
Void Flash!
Searing Flame!
Strike!
Do it!
Void Flash! Totally! In an instant! Impact Block!
Don't get careless.
Those soldiers don't seem to have any qualms about attacking on sight.
Is someone making them discourteous, aren't you?
Far enough! This one's all mine! Severing wind! Catapult!
Lunar corruption!
Void Flash! Time to cross blade! Void Flash! Strike!
Annihilation!
He who prepares is free from regret.
Strike!
Everyone, get back! It's too dangerous!
Wind!
Hold it together!
Wind!
Healing stroga!
I owe you one!
Grant me the strength to march
Choice like that could easily be
You picked the
fatal.
wrong...
Just as well, I'm here to stop.
Void Flash! Here I come!
Benediction.
I'll take it from here. Let's see how you handle this! Deus Roar!
Benediction
Wind!
light.
Tempest Whirlwind!
Allow me to
That'll bring you down!
Strike! Void Flash!
Glacial Spear!
Begin!
Here's the evil!
Stroga! Let's go! No escape!
Sleep now!
Here I come! Severing wind!
Here's my
Void Flash! Strike! Void Flash! You're mine!
Light out! Raging Cascade!
Severing wind!
Feel!
Strike! It's on!
So you clamor for my true power?
Here I come! No escape!
Negative gate!
Radiant Light!
Severing wind!
Field!
Strike! Void Flash!
Here's my from! Spread!
Take this!
Flame of
Severing
Fury!
wind! Void Flash!
Hear my call!
You're mine!
Spread!
Wind!
Tempest Whirl!
Here I come!
Glacial Steel! Here's the evil!
Severing wind! Strike! Wind!
Tempest Whirl!
I owe you one! No escape! No!
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
Don't push yourself too hard.
An opponent like this should be easy. Bring him down! Ignite!
Not on my watch!
Take this!
Blow him down!
They really don't give up, do they?
Fire up!
Armor won't save you! I'm ready!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished! Fall back! Void Flash! Do it! Rising Kisara! Commander of Heaven! Phoenix Cyclone!
We managed to pull through.
Go no further!
I see one, eh? You picked the wrong fight!
This one's mine!
Take this!
Corruption!
That may be the thorn.
Take this!
Glacial Spear! Pierce evil! Lightning descent! Thunderbolt! Attain between heaven and earth! Wailing dancing lightning! Downfall! Sleep now!
Back!
Stand back.
Anything more!
Void Flash! Take this!
Mega Ray! Photon Slash! More where that came from!
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Radiant
You're mine! Never again! Not again!
Raging Cascade!
Slice! Move it! Ready! I'm ready! Still!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
On your knees.
Severing Wing! Void Flash! The flame inside is yours! Like the ovary! In an instant! Impact Block!
Hey! Poodle's quivering! I think we're about to be real lucky!
This must be it. The entrance to the Forbidden Zone.
But it's just a wall. How do we get through?
Whoa, we? I thought this was sovereigns only.
Alvin.
Yes! It opened!
Interesting. If Alphen's presence still opens the way, it would seem the Sovereign of 3 centuries ago and now are considered one and the same.
What?
What the?
Alphen.
You again.
Tomorrow's the spirit channeling ceremony. We'll finally play our parts as the Sovereign and Maiden. How have you been feeling?
What am I sovereign of? Shuffled from lab to lab, always treated like an experiment. Whenever they look at me, all they see is a Danon. I don't even know what their precious ceremony's for, let alone what they're going to force me to do as the Sovereign. Tell me, if we're both in the same boat, why do you seem so calm right now?
No choice. Becoming the Maiden's not something I wanted for myself. But they said Rena's prosperity depended on it. How could I say no after that?
Still, as a Renan, at least you got to decide. Good for you. Meanwhile, I was taken from my homeland. You aren't the captive one here.
It isn't right what they did to you, and I'm sorry for what it's worth. When this is over, I swear I'll help you get home. I can't do this alone. One more day.
How could I say no to that? It's not like I have any choice in the matter anyway. So, what's your name?
It's Naori. Naori Imaris. Try to remember this time.
You don't act like them. Like the other Renans, I mean. How come you treat me like a person?
Because you are. It's true we come from different worlds, but neither one of us asked to be here right now. In that sense, you and I are much the same. We couldn't do this. We wouldn't be able to talk to each other as people if we didn't see the humanity in each other. So I suppose the question you should be asking is, why wouldn't I treat you like one?
You're not like the others.
Maybe they're not like me.
Here's what we'll do. We give them their damn ceremony. You get me to Dana. That'll be the end of it. I'm taking you at your word on this. I'm trusting you, not them. Naori.
What the hell just happened?
That vision.
That person Alphen was speaking to. She looked
It was Naori. Naori Imaris.
She really does look like Shion. I'm beginning to see why Alphen was so
That's all very well and fine, but what did we just witness exactly? It was too real to be a mere hallucination.
It was a conversation we had 300 years ago.
You mean all of that really happened? We just saw an episode straight out of your past?
But how is that even possible? Unless... Could this be the red...
No.
Why not?
You guys didn't feel it? The moment the entrance opened, it was like a stream of Dan and
I felt it too. And not for the first time either. It was the same since...
That would make sense. After all, vast amounts of... For all we know, perhaps we're close to the spot where all that energy was stored.
So you think it might have been the energy itself that was responsible?
We have no way of knowing. Maybe it's not even as deliberate as all that.
Shion, you...
Yeah. It was all just a little sudden. So that was my ancestor, huh? It was like looking into a mirror.
Yeah, there certainly is a resemblance.
What about you? How are you holding up?
Me?
Even putting aside the question of where that vision came from, it's likely we'll see more of those. Reliving painful episodes from your past.
I can't just pretend like the past never... Besides, if it helps us uncover the truth of what that ceremony really was...
Alphen.
That's not all. This whole time, we've been fighting to free Dana from the Renans. But now that we're here, I'd like to liberate them too if I can. Which is just another reason I can't afford to shield my eyes from...
Whether you're on Dana or somewhere else, you always stay the same. Your indignation and righteous passion, your desire to free and protect, they're all hardwired into you. Not that I'm complaining. Come on, let's bust...
Nobody's here.
Stay sharp. After that last illusion, there's no telling what could happen in here.
Faria, how did you get in here?
Wait, something about her isn't right.
What's wrong with her? She doesn't even seem to know where she is.
Yeah, you're right. She looks just like the soldiers we encountered outside.
Summoning?
But that's preposterous. She never had that kind of power when...
We can talk later. Here it comes!
What? I've never known Faria to control noodles like that before.
How about with a stone that looks suspiciously like a master core?
What the... Where did she get her hands on that?
First we handle the truth, then we get some answers.
Exploit the enemy's weakness.
Where are you going? Not on my watch!
No further! You picked the wrong fight!
Far enough!
I can carve through armor!
This world!
Void Flash! Strike! Void Flash!
Sorry. You do the same for me. Charge like that could easily be fatal.
Just as well, I'm here to stop.
Void Flash!
Wind astral energy! Dance in the wind!
Wind!
Air thrust! Here's a healing line between heaven and earth!
This is it!
I couldn't make it
A
in time.
wailing bounty of lightning! Seal! More for the stockpile! I'll bring you back from death's abyss!
Another incantation ruined.
Lightning orb! More where that came from! Lightning down! Thunderblade! It's weakened!
This ends now! Rising Focus!
Nothing gets by me! Denied!
You're finished! The prime side is yours to be let free!
Not on my watch! I never miss!
Here I come! Void Flash! Any more of those will all burn out! Rising Focus! Now we're not...
A wailing bounty
Here I
of
come!
lightning! More for the stockpile!
Severing Wind!
Being interrupted.
Severing Wind!
Void Flash! Raging cascade!
I'm ready! River!
Astral energy!
Say no more!
Benediction light.
Into the shadows!
Take it! Heal!
Prepared.
No! Take this! Sword Rain Alpha!
A wailing bounty of lightning! Lightning!
You're mine! Gonna attack!
Right, watch out! Heal! I'll be saving you! Freeze laser!
Burn!
Can you take it?
Take this! Crescent Flash!
Here goes!
Here I come! No escape!
In here! Reload!
Take this!
I'm out of saving this one!
Severing Wind!
This is some punishment.
Art seal! Ready to go! Ow! A chain between heaven and earth. This one's mine. A wailing banshee of lightning. A new seal. I'll be saving this one. Photon blast! More where that came from. Shining supernova! Dance in the wind! Kneel!
This should do it!
I'll be saving
Here I
this
come!
one.
Sword Rain Alpha!
Wind astral energy! More where that came from. Lightning again! Thunderblade! A chain between heaven and earth. One more! A wailing divide! Ready to go!
Wind! You'll pay for that! No escape!
Tempest Whirl!
Take this!
Not in your dreams!
No! It can't end here!
Light astral... Raging cascades! Spread! Dance in the wind! Sleep now! I can't save it! This one!
You're mine!
Tempest Whirl!
Trust!
Take care! Ready to...
Sword Rain Alpha!
Lunar corruption! By the
Here I come! Wind!
Don't leave me! Radiant light! Spirit flame! Reload! Luna! Ready to go! Mega ray! Watch and fall! A new lease on life!
I can carve through armor!
Lunar corruption!
First strike!
Lightning!
Burn!
One final push.
Let's finish this off!
I'll do my best not to disappoint.
Watch this! Take this! No escape!
Dance on the wind.
Sword Rain Alpha!
Here and now.
That'll bring you down!
It won't escape me.
No escape! I'm on Severing Wind! First strike! Here comes something big!
Try to dodge!
You picked the wrong fight! Severing Wind! Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Now it's just her! Faria, can you hear me? Faria!
She's preparing another summoning! The art she's casting is way too powerful to control. At this rate, her body won't be able to take much more.
Dohalim!
Forgive me.
Man, I thought we were goners.
Everything okay?
Yes.
She's not her. I meant
Shion, please. Can you...
I can try, but I can't promise she'll be back to her real...
We're not even supposed to be in here. Maybe it'd be better if we moved her to some...
In that case...
you.
Avakir, what are you doing here?
I was curious what you were up to, so I took the liberty of following you to find out. I overheard what you said about Tarnigan, about how he really died. I'm sorry, I had no idea.
And you believed me? What makes you so...
I like to think I know you a little better than that, Dohalim. I'll take Faria. I know better than to ask what you're up to.
Thank you.
He seems like a good friend.
He hasn't changed. He never was one to stand out. Instead, he was always As for Faria, it's always...
You don't seriously blame yourself for what happened to her, do you?
Somebody got to her, to strike back at me. And the same goes for you as well. Neither you nor Faria would have lost loved ones if it wasn't for me.
You're wrong. Kelzelik was the one who killed my brother. As for Tarnigan, if it weren't for the crown contest, But that's why we're fighting. To put an end to this...
Indeed. Ridding society of this blight.
You can't atone, Dohalim. I know it hurts to hear, but those people are dead. Forgiveness...
So I just forget the harm I caused?
No, the opposite, in fact. Not for those already passed.
For those still alive.
Kisara's right. So long as we've still got breath in our bodies, we can...
That's what living's all about. Punishing yourself for the past won't...
Only fixing the problem in its stead.
That's right. You
I shall try...
Don't forget, we've still got a mystery to solve.
Shion.
Huh?
Thank you.
Glad to be of service.
I'm glad we could stop Faria without hurting her.
You all did much for her as well. I'm most grateful.
Oh, shucks. We're on the same team, right? Let's move on. What is it, Rinwell?
Yeah, it's that voice.
The will of Dana's...
What? There's so much astral energy. But where's it all coming from? It's almost like it's alive.
That was the spirit channeling ceremony just now. No, it was more than that.
What the hell was that? It felt like everything was on the brink of... like the whole world was seconds from...
Oblivion. It's the same vision as the one my thorns show me. A vision of impenetrable darkness that...
An empty void. A nothing so complete and dominating that there aren't even...
The visions of the apocalypse you've been seeing. If I'd known how bad they were,
So, everything we just saw, those were Naori's memories, right?
That's right. It was as if her innermost thoughts were speaking directly to us.
That power flowing into her. It reminds me of Shion's thorns.
Maybe my thorns are made from that same astral energy?
If that is the case, we just found the missing link between your thorn. No, more than a link. Perhaps...
I've never felt astral energy so powerful. What was that?
If it's the same energy your thorns are made of...
Correct. Dark astral energy...
And when enough astral energy gathers together, if so, maybe that complete oblivion is exactly...
I don't know. Will can be a pretty vague thing to nail down.
But the will of Dana is made up of astral energy too, right? I don't know, should we really be getting so involved with this thing? But you can't say that for sure!
Cut it out, you two. Squabbling over theories will get us nowhere.
Let's keep moving. If it's Dana's will showing us these memories, then I'm as clueless about its motives as any one of us. But if it could lead us to the truth, then I want to find out more.
Shion's right. All we can do is keep going. If these really are Naori's memories, and I think they may be the kinds of truths I need to confront if we're going to keep fighting.
I'm sorry about what I said earlier.
Finally, we begin to understand what the thorns are.
Yes, and their source. A ceremony that occurred 3 centuries ago.
But we still don't know how to get rid of them. I just hope we can find a way. Soon, we might very well learn the truth behind Shion's thorn. I have to be ready to face anything. Whatever happens. I'm determined to save Shion. Hold up, you guys.
What is it?
I want to look through that room over there. I'm curious what we'll find.
That's the room you visited in your past, right? Sure. We can check it out. This looks like some kind of research facility.
A laboratory secreted away in the Forbidden Zone.
Looks pretty deserted.
Let's check it out. It might give us a new lead.
I think I can make this work.
Well, can you make head or tail of it?
These are experiment records, by the looks of it. Reams of them, dating back hundreds of years. Let's see. A composite being capable of controlling Danan astral energy so as to convert its molecular and elemental makeup. The creation of a governing central figure, taking the form of a Danan. Codename Sovereign.
Sovereign?
Wait, there's more. Research into utilizing force field crystals for the purpose that must be the Master Cores. With all this raw data, there's bound to be records here somewhere about the Maiden and the Lords.
About the Lords?
Think about it. The Lords' crests are clearly of a piece with those of both, not to mention the fact that the contenders to the crown are selected from otherwise. In other words, it may be that all—
What about the Sovereign? Does it say anything else?
Where do I start? All I've read so far is the headlines. There's so much here. To sift through all of it would require—
What is it? Did you find something?
It's a list of names, with the title, Test Subjects, Sovereign. It's your call.
Read it.
There must be dozens of test subjects listed here. Hundreds even. All of them failures. Wait, I think I've found one that was successful. Test subject number 1273. Ethnicity, NA. Alphen.
They re-engineered me. Right here in...
Alphen.
It's fine, really. What about the other...
Test subject number 10105. Volron.
Volron? But that means...
He's only sovereign because someone made him that way too.
He's the last one. In 3 centuries worth of records, you and Volron are...
But what about the winners of the crown contests? Does this mean that no...
Upon victory, the Sovereign shall return to Rena, and rule over Rena and Lenegis combined. When a new Sovereign is decided, the outgoing monarch shall relinquish their post. But according to these records, there have only ever been 2 Sovereigns, neither of whom had any... It's all lies, including the part about the Sovereign residing in Rena. The crown contest was never about deciding a new ruler. It must always have been devised...
But even supposing that's true, someone must have been in charge for the past 3 centuries, right?
Crown contests have been held this whole time, in spite of the fact that there was already a sovereign. Me. Meaning that for the past 300 years, someone out there has to have been maintaining that lie. The same person I'm willing to bet is behind all this.
The Red Woman?
It's possible. But that doesn't necessarily mean she's the master. She could be working for someone else. Someone back on the Renan homeworld.
Either way, it's fair to say she's definitely involved somehow.
What about the data records? Is there no other information?
Not that I can see. Just file upon... There's nothing here about who's behind all this, or what their endgame is. I've barely managed to scratch the surface, mind you. You won't be able to read through it all.
I'll do that.
So this is where Alphen became the Sovereign. And Volron as well. The significance of this location would suggest...
Hey, it looks like the terminals in here turned on too.
We should look through them. They might contain valuable information.
Naori,
Don't talk. I have to do this. I gave you my word that I'd help you return to Dana. The next time you open your eyes, you'll be home.
But you...
My place is here with my people. I still have a duty to fulfill. I'm sorry for what you've endured. Renan never should have dragged you into this. It's not your burden to bear.
But...
The mask contains a sedative. It should keep your mind from tearing itself apart any further. Let yourself go to sleep. This should help with the pain. Time to go, Alphen. Farewell.
Naori...
His injuries are worse than I thought. Short-term treatment isn't going to cut it. I'll have to switch the healing pod to long-term hibernation mode. The chance of surviving hibernation's less than 10%? And worse, long-term use of the mask carries a high risk of damaging his mind and nervous system. But... If I don't head back, Lenegis will be nothing but ashes. And this starship along with it. I don't know if I can fulfill my promise to you, Alphen. But if doing this will grant you even the slightest chance, I have to try. I hope it's enough. Please, live for me, Alphen. That vision. It must have been from when Naori helped Alphen escape Lenegis.
She sure went above and beyond.
Even with Lenegis crumbling down around her?
So that's why you lost your memories and sense of pain, and why you were asleep for that whole time. It was all the result of...
Yeah. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't even be alive today. I owe her everything.
Now that you know how she felt, how do you plan on honoring her wishes?
She kept her promise. If the Renan people she fought so desperately to protect are at risk from a malevolent force, then I owe it to her to carry on her. Naori was the one who put that mask on me, and made me Iron Mask.
She did it to prevent your soul from tearing itself apart. She knew you might lose your memory.
Tell me, Dohalim, has that skill of yours got a name?
And what skill would this be, pray tell?
You know, when you're talking to people around town. The way they suddenly become putty in your hands.
I'm afraid I don't quite follow.
I do. It's called friendly intimidation. Look imposing and speak in a deep, booming voice, and presto, you'll have people wrapped around your finger in no time.
I would never stoop to such scandalous tricks. Any feelings of intimidation are solely in the eye of the beholder.
So there is a knack to it! How do you learn it? Can anyone do it?
Now you've got me curious. Is there special training to master?
Let's see. An obsession with being elegant is a must. Oh, and it helps to be old-fashioned, too. Bonus points if you speak in a way no one can understand.
If you've a bone to pick with me, it'd be quicker to just come out and say it.
What? They look up to you, that's all. I'm just helping them along.
Hey! What's got into Alphen and Law all of a sudden?
I can barely understand a word they're saying. And what's with the weird poses? Was it something they ate?
I hope you're willing to take the blame for this one.
I wasn't expecting them to take me so seriously. I'll go and have a word with them.
This place. We've seen this in one of Naori's memories.
Of course. After 300 years, this is where it was held. The spirit channeling ceremony. This is where the Renaissance was.
So this is the place where you and Naori...
The Renaissance isn't here now, nor is the Red Woman.
I know it's difficult, Alphen, but there will be time to dwell on the past later.
Naori. What is this? Is it the work of Dana's will again?
It's been a year since the ceremony. That day, I shut away inside of myself the power that caused Alphen to lose control. Since then, my visions of the future have grown more and more fearsome.
Is this another memory? No, it's different this time. It's like she's speaking directly to us.
What we did back then. Not so much as a day passes when I don't think about it. About what was done to us. All in the name of a ceremony. The purpose of which we were never even told. As Sovereign, they linked Alphen's consciousness to Lenegis itself. The Renis Alma was intended to control his power, lest anything should slip through its cracks. That day, as Maiden, my role was to temper his power. I was meant to guide it forth, and give shape to the strength inside of him.
Linked to Lenegis itself? But then, everything that's been happening.
But that power showed me a vision. A vision of oblivion. When I realized that vision was a prophecy of the apocalypse we were about to unleash, I couldn't go through with it. But without a maiden, the ceremony was doomed. Alphen lashed out, his consciousness no longer his own. I did what I could. Using my abilities as the maiden, I tried to seal that power away inside of me. But it was too late. Lenegis had already been brought to its knees. Thousands upon thousands of lives so cruelly snuffed out. All because of me. Because of what I had done. With the destructive force now slumbering inside of me, I knew I had to find a way to dispose of it. Anything to make up for my failure. But I didn't know how. Especially since that power was astral energy itself. In which case, ironically enough, the Renis Alma seemed to be my best bet. That, at least, would hold the astral energy dormant. Assuming that no malevolent third party got to it first. With the Sovereign and Maiden's combined power, perhaps I could shift the chaotic energy inside me into the Renis Alma instead. That's what I hoped, but alas, it was not to be. The Renis Alma was lost, and Alphen, the Sovereign, was in a starship bound for Dana. My only choice was to seal away the destructive force inside of me using my powers as the Maiden, to buy the world what little time I could. The time needed for a new Renis Alma to be crafted, and for a new Sovereign to appear. Even if by doing so, it meant I would be passing the curse on to my descendants as well. Please, forgive me. I never meant to burden the future world with this threat too. I only wish that there was something more I could have done.
Wait, you can't just...
Naori.
That message just now, was it directly from Naori? Or was it the Danan voice speaking through her?
What?
These are the clothes that Naori and I wore during the ceremony 3 centuries ago.
So you're saying this? Is the maiden's outfit?
That's right. These clothes are designed to resonate with the Sovereign and Maiden's abilities. They focus and enhance them.
And they appeared now because...
Naori must have left them here for the new Sovereign and Maiden, knowing the day would come when they would need them in their fight against the Thorns.
These outfits are directly linked to the answers we've been chasing this whole time. If they're here, it must mean it was Naori's will for us to find those answers as well.
Locating the Renis Alma would allow us to neutralize the dark astral energy inside Shion, thereby silencing her thorns. Is that what Naori's suggesting?
It makes sense. After all, Master Cores and Spirit Vessels are both able to prevent the astral energy inside them from developing sentience. By that logic, it would stand to reason that the Renis Alma would have the same ability on a larger scale.
We have a Maiden and Sovereign. Now all we need is the Renis Alma, and we'll finally be able to free you of your thorns. Shion.
It's possible? You really think so?
I do. We can rid you of your thorns and stop the world from falling to oblivion.
However, the spirit channeling ceremony already failed once. Even if our goal is different this time, we can't be sure the same thing won't happen again. We should take care not to be too optimistic.
You're right. It's the barest sliver of a chance. But if there's even the slightest hope it can work, I'm willing to stake everything I've got on it.
I know it's too early to let myself feel relieved, but I just can't seem to help it. Just hearing there's the slightest chance, even though I know the world's still in great peril. It's selfish of me, I know, but still.
No, it isn't. You found hope to believe in. It'd be strange if you weren't over the moon about it.
Rinwell's right. We can rid you of your curse and still save the world at the same time.
Thank you. Naori entrusted us with the fate of all humanity. Now, it's up to us to prove that trust was well placed.
Starting with a little game called Hunt the Renis Alma.
Yeah, we've come all this way. Now we just need to search Lenegis and Rena until we find it.
Yeah, we can protect the world and save Shion at the same time.
I too shall lend my services. My knowledge of Renin lore is bound to be a useful asset.
And they say modesty is dead.
Miracles just seem to follow wherever you go, huh?
How do you know it's me they're following? We're all in this together, Shion. You included. Now let's get moving, shall we? Last I heard, we had an apocalypse to stop. Thank you, Naori. So Naori sealed away the power that made me. She stopped my but then, that power she'd sealed away was... I'm so sorry, Shion. It's my fault that you're cursed.
You're wrong. What happened to you was because of the ceremony, and Naori's attempt to stop Oblivion. You paid a heavy price for it. The reason you lost...
is the reason for your curse.
The thorns.
It all leads back to them. But once they're gone, we can...
When my thorns are gone, I never dared to dream that such a thing... No, the truth is, about a life, the touch of my family, holding hands with Rinwell, or giving Law a deserved smack, embracing everyone, all the normal things I always wished I could experience. Is it really okay for me to believe? I'm so scared of... What if it doesn't work out in the end, and...
That's not going to happen. I'm here to make sure it won't. Forget fate or destiny or anything else. We're going to live a normal life. There are a lot of things you still want to do, right?
Yeah, it's such a... I know that we've still got plenty of fighting up ahead. And it's for my sake.
You're worth fighting for.
I believe you, Alpha.
Good. I'll keep on fighting. For as long as it takes. Until our future is...
That's quite some door, all right. This might finally be it. The heart of the beast.
We'll find the Renis Alma and the Red Woman inside, right?
After everything we've been through to get here, they damn well better be.
We'll probably be needing you to open this one for us.
Go for it, Alphen.
This is it, guys. Time to see what secrets are in store.
Volron! He really was still alive.
And there's the Renis Alma. Then, is this another spirit channeling ceremony?
Wait, though. Something doesn't seem right here.
Once more, the powers must be united. Born from the fires of chaos, the world does seek its rightful state. All must be sacrificed in the heart of Rena, at the shrine of the true sovereign.
What has happened to him? He's lost himself. Reduced to a mere cog in a machine.
Hey, look! Over there!
Isn't that the Maiden's crest?
Can it be that this entire chamber is meant to act as a substitute for the Maiden?
It looks like it's still running, but are we already too late to stop the ceremony?
If that's what caused Lenegis' transformation, then the purpose of the ceremony must have been to drain all the astral energy out of Dana.
But for what purpose? What could possibly need astral energy on that sort of scale?
I don't know. But whatever it is, I'll bet it's connected to those visions of oblivion. Regardless, we cannot stand by and let them steal Dana's energy.
That said, we should retrieve the Renaissance. Because right now, we need that most of all.
He's not gonna lunge at us out of nowhere, right?
Not the time, Law.
Alphen, look!
The Red Woman! So we finally found you. I have a lot of questions for you.
Wait!
What?
They all have the same face? How is that even possible? What is this?
Who the hell are they?
It can't be. Are they even people?
It's hard to know for sure, but I think they're the true rulers of Renna.
They're not feeling particularly confident.
It's no use, Alphen. If we don't fight, we may as well be sitting ducks here.
Good point. Let's stop them before this gets out of hand.
Here
Severing
goes!
wing! Strike!
Not in your dreams!
Denied! Armor won't save you!
Severing wing! Boys,
Lunar
take
corruption!
this! Rising strike this!
Illuminate the sky! Healing!
Win!
Hear my call!
You're mine!
Spread! Raging
Severing, you may be strong, but I'll never back down!
Into the shadows!
Win! The flame inside me, yours!
Negative free! Incantation ruined!
Severing wing! Void flash! Shattering!
Our art is being interrupted!
Here I come!
Take this!
Strike! Win!
The tempest engulfs you!
Hear my call! Lightning raging cascade!
Win! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Benediction light.
Lightning orb!
Win! Strike!
Lightning
Can't get out of this!
Void flash!
Hear me! Flame of fury! Chain between heaven and earth! Hear my
Here I
call!
come!
A wailing
not
fury of
done!
lightning!
Win!
Divide flame of
Hitting
fury!
Rondo! Soaring Alpha!
Negative gate! Resonate with the earth!
Take this! You're finished!
I'll blind you with those armor won't save you!
It's on! Dragon Swarm! I'm not done! Burn in hell! Take this! Luminous Gate! Void Flash! Engulf you! On Rising Falcon! Crush!
Air pressure!
Wind! Void Flash! Strike!
That'll bring you down!
Deity!
Void Flash! Strike!
Tornado drop! Take this! Resonate with the earth!
Hear my call! Here's a healing arc!
No further!
Hit! One more! Raging
Negative
Take this!
Resonate with the earth!
It's over!
Strike!
Here I come! Severing wind!
Can you take it?
Here I come! Luminous Gate! Severing wind! Not today!
Far enough! Back into the
I'll
fray!
smash you!
Raging star! Lightning
Infernal Torrent! Severing wind! Void flash! Rising Falcon! Take this! It's over! Strike! Rising Strike! Wind!
I'll fix you up! Recover!
Forgive me. This is my...
Here! Watson one!
It's go time!
That'll bring you down! More where that came from!
No further!
like. Win! Here! You're mine! Severing wind! On your knees! Strike! Force blast! Air pressure!
I'm all stopped up! It's time to finish this! Die! Consuming wildfire! Let me show you what my arms can do!
I'm not done! Severing wind!
Carve down through all! Resurrect
Alpha!
a chain between heaven and earth! A wailing lightning!
Strike! Force blast!
Hear me! Flame of fury! Burning strike! Glacial spear! Pierce evil!
Win!
Unrest deity! Far enough!
Here I come! Win! Win!
Let the
Win!
mountain handle this! This one's mine!
Here I come! More! Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade! Surrender! Fighting is useless now!
Do you think it's really over?
Astral energy. Watch out! They've got something up their sleeve!
What?
It's self-destructed?
Alphen!
I'm okay. Just a little roughed up.
You had me worried there.
Who said you could touch that?
Damn it! He's awake!
I should have thought as much. So you know this place? Naturally. It was built for me, after all. We'll save that for another time. More pressing is how I'm going to tear you apart. Even after all this time, you still insist on hating me? You cut me down. Sovereign or not, you will pay for that.
You're obviously bluffing. You can't even move right now.
Really, is that what you think? Did you really think that such a petty device could hold me?
Are you going to claim it's because you're a ruler? Be it sovereigns or lords. In the end, they're all titles given by someone else.
Plus, what kind of ruler would spend all his time chasing Alf, who happens to be another sovereign?
Idle prattle. I proved my worth and the Sovereign's powers were granted to me.
Were they really? We already know the title of Sovereign doesn't denote royalty. It is but an overblown codename for those with a designated part to play in these proceedings. You mentioned before that you were not the only one stolen from Dana, correct?
Yeah. There were countless. And every one of them besides me died.
All of those failed experiments, and they still kept going back to Dana. There must have been some vital reason their subject had to specifically be a Danan. Then there were the records we found in the library, for you and Volron. They were logged 300 years apart, and yet the data they took from you was exactly the same. Which leads us to a single conclusion.
Then you mean Voron was kidnapped just like Alphen? But then he became a
slave from Dana. Just like us. Isn't that right, Volron?
So he posed as a Renin and caused all that suffering to his own people?
How could you? If you knew the pain of being a slave, why would you inflict that upon others?
Renin and Dana are meaningless distinctions. Me and is all that matters. I will stand above all others and take what is rightfully mine, starting with this.
A red woman?
Another one? Give your master back on Rena this message. No one makes a fool of me. Let them know I'll make them suffer.
Don't do it!
It's too late. You can't stay here.
We need to go. Outfit!
Go. But know I will be your shadow no matter where you try to run.
Let's go.
Never forget, I am the one who devours everything. Who answers to neither spirit nor man. My word is law. I am.
Are you two okay?
Yeah. We'll be fine.
Is Volron... have we finally seen the last of him?
We can but hope.
Those red women. What the heck was their deal?
Could they be the ones behind all this? The same ones who put those soldiers in Faria in a trance?
What? Those brainless things? Either way, they've done a runner with the Renaissance. Damn it, that's the second time now!
Whatever's stolen from us, we'll steal it back. The future's ours to protect. And right now, those things are what's standing in our way. We can head them off at Rena.
Did you say Rena?
Volron mentioned a master of theirs holed up in the motherland somewhere.
If that monstrous form's their true identity, I shudder to think who they take orders from.
Yeah. There's a good chance it's not human. That's for sure.
So this thing over on Rena, that's what's really behind all this, huh?
They have the Renaissance in their grasp already, so it's unlikely they'll have cause to return to Dana. I agree that Rena's our best shot.
Then we're agreed. Let's head back to the starship.
But seriously, I was not expecting Volron to actually be here.
He seemed to care not one whit about Ren. Or Danans.
Yeah.
"いつも君と